Is your magic meter running low? Well, we've got a cure for you. Welcome to Dizney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Dizney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli, and today on the show I have an exclusive interview with the super talented and immediately charming music director from Disney Plus's Encore, Adam Wachter. On launch day for Disney Plus this past November, I was delighted to finally get to see Encore, a show that I had heard about several years back but never got to check out. Listen as Adam shares stories about how he was involved with Encore years before its Disney Plus premiere, his favorite parts of the job, how he works with those folks who just couldn't carry a tune in a bucket, and so much more. All of that's coming up right after this. You're an intelligent person who knows that listening to podcasts is a great way to continue learning while doing mundane tasks. So you may be happy to hear that you can do the same with audiobooks. Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks, ranging from bestsellers to celebrity memoirs, news, business, and self-development. You can download titles and listen offline, anytime, anywhere. The app is free and can be installed on all smartphones and tablets, plus you can listen across devices without losing your spot. And the great news for us Disney fans is there are a bunch of Disney titles for you to listen to. Start your completely free trial by visiting audibletrial.com/DCTC. That's audibletrial.com/DCTC. If you're a fan of Walt Disney Imagineering, may I suggest the book One Little Spark, Mickey's 10 Commandments and the Road to Imagineering by the former head of Imagineering, Marty Sklar. And for you theater fans listening, may I suggest the hilarious novel by Seth Rudetsky, Broadway Nights, A Romp of Life, Love, and Musical Theater. That book literally made me laugh out loud. Those and so many other titles are available right now over at audibletrial.com/DCTC, completely for free. Once again, that's audibletrial.com/DCTC.
Prepare for some insight. You've tuned in to an exclusive DCTC interview.
Adam, thank you so much for coming on Disney Coast to Coast.
Thank you for having me in your wonderful home.
I reached out to you randomly because I was watching Encore. So many Disney fans were. Yeah. And I was like, first of all, great show. But when you're on screen and when you're in the episodes, it's like extra magic. You were so much fun.
Oh, stop it.
Seriously, so much fun. So it's
my God.
Let me reach out. And then you're like, sure, what the heck?
Absolutely. So, I'll do anything.
But then I started researching you and I was like, oh, wow, you are way overqualified for this podcast.
That's not true. That's not true. You just had like the creative director of all of Disney on Ice.
That's true. And that was a fun one. But
I listened to that.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
in the car just now.
She was fun.
Oh my God.
What a sweet
career.
gig. Sweet gig.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Disney on Ice since I was a kid, but now I want to go back after listening to that.
It's been a while for me as well. But I love that you just plugged another episode at the beginning of this one.
There you go.
You're a pro.
Plugging.
But seriously, your resume was insane. And we're here to primarily talk about Encore, but we're going to get to other stuff.
Okay.
Because I was really, really impressed. You're amazing. And folks who, if you haven't checked out Encore on Disney Plus, definitely check it out.
Yeah.
If you want to see Adam's episodes, they are Annie, Beauty and the Beast, Annie Get Your Gun, Fiddler on the Roof, Pippin, and Anything Goes.
That's right.
And you were the musical director for all six of those.
All 6 episodes.
And let's start at the beginning because Encore started for you before even this.
Yeah.
So let's hear.
Encore started for me almost 4 years ago now because I did the pilot, the lost pilot, Into the Woods, which we shot as a pilot hoping it would go to full series for ABC. This was before Disney Plus was even a thing, obviously. Then it didn't. It didn't get picked up to series by ABC.
But it got aired,
They aired it as a special instead, like one random Sunday night after they showed Frozen. They just aired at like 10 o'clock p.m. Encore as just one episode. Into the Woods.
And Into the Woods, which is a show was truly obsessed with as a
Yeah.
kid. There were a couple shows that I would watch, like any production of. Little Shop of Horrors was one, and Into the Woods was one. And so I don't know how I missed this on ABC.
They didn't really promote it. I think because they were like, we don't want to spend more money on this. We're only airing it once. It's not going to be like a thing that we need to build an audience for. We paid for the pilot, so we're just going to air it. And that's all it was. So there wasn't a lot of promotion. Not many people knew it even happened.
That's sad.
But it sure did. We went out, we shot that in West Covina, California at their high school. We did Into the Woods, just like, standard Encore. Me and Coy and Amina Kaplan was the choreographer. And we did Into the Woods. And now no one will ever see it. Sorry.
Sad.
There was a moment where they were like, maybe we'll include it with the 12 that we, just released on Disney Plus, but it didn't happen.
My only guess is that maybe it was different enough from the Encore's
I guess
shows
it must be. And now it's kind of old. I mean, you think it was 2016 we shot it. They aired it in 2017. So, like, my hair is longer and doesn't look great. I don't know. It's shot a little differently. I guess it doesn't line up with sort of the current Encore state of being, but it's still a good one. And now it actually ties into Disney even more than it did then, because now there's Into the Woods.
That's right, the Disney film. What do you think of that?
It's not on Disney Plus yet, is it?
That I don't know, because I own it.
Yet. I think it's coming.
So how did you get involved with the Into the Woods one?
It was so random. Like anything in this business, I think it's just like random. It was such a right place, right time thing that it could so easily have not ever happened to me, which would be very sad because it's like my favorite thing I've ever done. But I was in LA randomly. I had like a month and a half between theater gigs where I was music directing something until like April, and then I didn't have anything else lined up until July or something like that. And I was like, okay, I could stay in New York. I was living in New York at the time. I could stay in New York and just play auditions for Broadway shows and things and sort of like sub on stuff and just hang out. And it's like, or you know what? I could go to LA. I like LA, and at that point I had never lived there for any period of time, like longer than a week. So I was like, I'm going to go spend a couple months in LA. I had a friend who had just moved there. He had like an extra bedroom. And so he said, come live in my bedroom. I'll charge you really cheap rent. You can help me walk my dog and like decorate the place. And I said, great, that sounds perfect. And I came to LA.
Awesome.
And while I was here, they were putting together the pilot of Encore and looking for a creative team, and it all, like everything else, had to happen so quickly. And I had a friend, Jake Wilson, who was a producer on the show, and I had just done a reading of Merrily We Roll Along at the Wallace, and Marissa Jarrett Winokur was in that, and her kid was going to school with one of the executive producer of Encore's kids, so I guess they heard my name from multiple sort of directions, and they met with me. And they said, okay, come back in a month or so and we're going to do Encore. We're going to do Into the Woods. You're going to music direct Into the Woods in 5 days with a cast of non-professionals. Here we go. Okay. And we did it.
So when you first heard this pitch,
yeah,
what is your thought? First of all, was there any hesitation?
There was no hesitation, for sure.
Because it was a nice TV show gig?
It was a great gig, and I just thought it was a great concept.
What if it wasn't a TV show? Would there have been hesitation?
No. I like to jump into things.
I was going to say, I believe you because when I watch Encore, like, I'm going to say I love Encore, but it stresses me out. Like, I am the type of person that if you're in the theater watching a show with me and stuff starts going on, like, I start squeezing your leg.
Oh, no.
Because it stresses me out so much so.
I think it
you
stresses
laugh it
me out
off
to an extent because you have to laugh it off. There's nothing you can do in that situation. When we get to day 5 and I'm sitting in that pit with an orchestra in front of me, and one way or another we have to do the show and get through it. Yeah. I mean, I guess one choice would be to really freak out and get angry and like stress. But that's not the right choice.
No, you're right.
If you can just laugh and enjoy it, you have to sort of let it go. That's the thing with Encore. You have to, I think there are people who come into it, and there are other music directors who you sort of see this happen, or who I've chatted with after the fact, who told me, this was so stressful because you start to feel the pressure of, oh my God, I'm on camera. And so not only are my reactions being captured, but this show that could represent me as a music director is being captured forever and will live on the internet forever, and everyone will see it. And that's where you could start to freak out if you thought about that. But then you say, you know what? Everyone knows this is done in 5 days.
Yeah.
These are not professional singers. You do what you can. And, you know, the end result is the end result. And I have a great time, so.
Now, did you see this pilot before it aired on ABC?
The one that I was in?
The Into the Woods one. Did you?
Did I see it?
Like, so
Like
you're
a
obviously
rough
shot.
cut?
Did you ever get to see it before it was on ABC?
I think I did, yeah.
And-
I think they sent me, like a rough one, and they were like, this is what we're doing.
And did you think, oh, this is going to be picked up? Or did you think...
No, I thought it was going to be, yeah. I hoped it would, because I wanted to do it again.
Yeah.
We all did. We had the people who work on the show, especially even the ones you don't see, the producers and the people who build the sets and the sound department and everything are like amazing people. I don't know if that happens all the time in television because I haven't done any other television, but it's such a great group. I just wanted to hang out with everybody again and do it all again. So I was really hoping. We didn't know. And then when they aired it, we were all really disappointed because we thought, okay, maybe that's the end of Encore. And then miracle of miracles, as they say in Fiddler on the Roof, Disney Plus came along.
And how many years was that between like finishing Into the Woods and then hearing, oh, you're going to be coming back for this? At least 2 years, right?
Yeah, almost 3, I want to say.
Wow.
I think it was it was January of 2019.
Okay.
When they actually, called my agent and said, okay, let's put a deal together. We're making more Encore.
And had you heard any, whispers of this since Disney Plus was coming along, or was it just kind of a shock?
No, it was a shock, I think. I think it was something we all hoped for.
Yeah.
But with anything in theater or TV or anything, until there's, a signed contract, not even then, until you have like a paycheck in your hands,
Sure.
you don't know that anything's going to happen. And then in TV, even then, you don't know if anyone's ever going to see what you made.
Yeah.
That was the case with the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, we've made this thing. Is anyone ever going to see it? And then now they have. Now not only have they've seen 12 full episodes of it, 12 musicals.
It's funny because, we were talking before we started recording, and I said Into the Woods is one of my favorite musicals.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a huge Disney fan, so I'm familiar with what's going on ABC, and I'm a theater fan, so this is a type of show up my alley, but I had never even heard it. I knew of Encore because I heard about the show, but I was unaware that it had aired.
Right. I think you're not alone. I don't think anyone was aware that it aired because they were just airing it one time only, so there was not a lot of promotion for it. But now
it's all over the place. And I remember
everyone can watch it.
I was in the audience when they had the big Disney Plus panel at D23 Expo.
Oh, okay.
And so
where Kristen came out. Yeah.
And I don't think that we knew it I think that was the first time we'd heard this.
Quite possibly.
And and it was funny because I was like, oh, I know this show because I've heard so much about it many years ago.
But even at that point, you were unaware that it had aired.
I didn't know Into the Woods had aired.
Wow.
And for a long time, I actually assumed the original pilot was going to be on Disney Plus, and then later found out I'm a completionist, so it actually really bothers me that I haven't seen Into the Woods.
Maybe one day. Disney Plus will.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Deign to put it on.
So I think you've already answered this question, but so it's not like you guys had shot anything further that was sitting on a shelf.
No.
Everything that's on Disney Plus was specifically made for Disney Plus.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Very, very cool. So I am curious, how much prep work goes into it for you? So you are the music director. Obviously, there's tons of prep work that goes into all these, but as the music director...
For me.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. I mean...
I would assume so.
Yeah. The biggest... there's so many things that you don't see as part of the episode, obviously, because we shoot for a whole week with multiple cameras. So they have to cut out quite a lot of stuff and put the story together, which is fine because there's a lot of really boring, no one wants to see me like plunking out notes and teaching the harmonies and things. It would not be that entertaining. But before all that happens, the big stuff for my department is orchestrations have to get done because we do not have the luxury or the budget to hire the full orchestral component for each of these shows. So like Annie, for example, I think those original orchestrations are for like 20-some musicians. And on Encore, we usually have between 8 and 10, depending on the show. Some even have fewer because Grease and Godspell, I believe, are orchestrated for already for under $6, the originals.
Okay.
But something like Annie or Fiddler, which are these huge golden age musicals, well, Annie's not really golden age, it's the 70s, but Fiddler is a golden age musical, and Anything Goes, obviously, this very old musical. They call for giant orchestras, and we don't have that, so we reduce the orchestrations to 8 pieces, and that's a huge endeavor, and we have a great sort of supervising orchestrator named Brian Allen Hobbs, and he handles all of that. And then we have to find the musicians in every city we go to. We use local union musicians and schedule them for rehearsals separately from the cast. That's a whole endeavor.
Are you working with them or?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're not only working. Would that be like before the 5 days start, or are you like kind of running in between?
It depends on the city and sort of the availability. Some cities, it happened after a full day of shooting or before a full day of shooting, like in the wee hours, and those were long days. And some, they happen the day before we start with the cast. So I'll come in a day early, go work with the orchestra for a few hours, and then, which is also a weird thing because on a traditional musical theater schedule, you work with the orchestra sort of after you've worked with the cast. So you already know how they're phrasing things and you can rehearse the orchestra that way. This is like, I've literally never met the actors and I'm trying to explain to the orchestra how each of these sort of tempi are going to work and things. And that's nonsense.
I will say union musicians are like an amazing breed of people in the sense that, you know, for the common folk, not yourself, but for the common folk, you could have first rehearsal, first run through of a score.
Yeah.
And the audience, a general audience would think, this is ready.
Exactly.
Like, they're unbelievable.
Yeah. And they have to be because we have no time.
Yeah.
We only get a 4-hour rehearsal with them before we do like what we call the Vondel probe on Encore, which is also the tech and also the first dress and also like it's all nonsense. It's so little time. It's crazy.
Don't they have like high school versions of these scores that you guys could use?
Some of the shows, yeah.
Okay.
But even those, the orchestrations aren't reduced because I'll let you, like you're talking about the MTI Junior sort of shows, and we actually use those sometimes. We did on Into the Woods for sure. We use those as kind of templates for how, because we do have to condense the shows a bit because obviously you can't
I was going to ask you about
a 3-hour
that.
musical in 5 days. So we do condense them. We still do a full musical. It's not like we just do pieces. But
like
we
what,
sort
90
of,
minutes or 45?
Yeah, like maybe 90, which is still a task.
So you're
we
basically
try to
doing
keep
West
a little
Side
of everything, but just condense it. So maybe do half of every song or, you know, just shorten scenes here and there. And we cut out everything that the alumni cast aren't in, obviously, because we're not going to use any of that material. Those MTI Junior versions don't come with orchestrations because primarily schools either do them with just piano or they provide tracks. All the MTI Junior versions have tracks you can use. I know Fiddler especially has like a whole thing of tracks, and that's what most schools use because they are orchestrated tracks. We do not do that. We use live musicians, which is great, but which also we have to then create charts for.
Maybe they should flip Encore upside down sometime and get professional actors on stage, but the musicians are all people brought back from high school band days.
Oh my God.
That would
People
be
on
way
Twitter
harder.
Are like begging for a sort of spin-off of Encore where we do marching bands. High school marching bands.
Here's the thing though. Okay, so I've done both. I did theater and I also have played saxophone and piano.
Yeah.
And piano I shouldn't say kept up, but I could play something on a piano if I needed to. I couldn't pick up the saxophone and tell you anything about that instrument anymore. And I played it for like through middle school and high school.
And you come back a little bit.
Maybe. I feel like that would be way more than 5 days.
That was like me with viola. I played viola through high school and now I did pick one up recently and tried to play it. And like I could play it, but it did not sound good.
Yeah, I don't think an instrument is like riding a bike, you know?
Yeah, no, you do need to really practice and get those muscles going again.
But singing and, you know, acting or whatever, I feel like you can kind of fake it at least.
With mixed results. As we see on Encore every week.
For sure. I am curious, so on the show, you guys kind of have these auditions where they sing a song from the year they graduated.
Yes.
Do you choose those songs?
I help. Okay. Yeah, I get given basically, at least on my episodes, I can't speak for the other ones, but on my episodes, you know, they said this is the year they did the show, so we know we want something from that year.
Okay.
And then it becomes, okay, what can we acquire the rights to use and what can we afford the rights to use?
Sure.
Because certain songs cost more than other songs.
Yeah.
So they give me a list, and with the producers, I narrow it down. They sort of ask me, okay, which of these songs would show off vocally what you need to see to actually like get to know these people's voices? And so I narrow it down based on that. And then we sort of talk about what would be best TV and things of that nature. Yeah, that's a fun day that it also has its own stress because we're not getting anything done.
Sure. I always
that
think
day
about
we're really
that.
just making television.
I always think about it. I'm like, this is day one.
Yeah,
like,
we're not doing
the clock
anything.
Has started.
We're singing Lady Marmalade, which has nothing to do with the show we're doing. Though those are funny moments, you know.
If you ever get a late 90s or early 2000s,
which we do all the time.
I request some NSYNC, perhaps.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I do love NSYNC. Well, do you know there's an Encore podcast now called Encore. It's
really?
like a fan podcast where they recap all the episodes, and they have a really funny Twitter presence, and they tweeted something yesterday that was what song would you want Adam to pick for you if you had to pick one from your graduating year? And I graduated high school in 2001, so for me it was All or Nothing by O-Town.
Oh, nice, because I want it all or nothing at all. Yeah.
That would be a good one. That's very sort of like when we did Leanne Rimes on the... What episode was that? We did Leanne Rimes.
Oh, I can't remember. Oh, I do remember that one. You know which one I didn't recognize was the Ragtime one. Not that was your episode, but they did.
What did they sing?
I can't even remember. But I was like, I don't even remember this, and I was definitely around at this time. But
yeah, they were young, right? The Ragtime cast. Yeah, they were sort of young.
Yeah, my pop music knowledge really, it's like the TRL days.
Yeah,
that's it.
Absolutely. Same.
You said you graduated in 2001, so I just want to point this out. I can cut this if you want me to.
Okay.
But you just discovered how old you are.
I thought I was a year older than I was.
That's amazing.
No, I don't understand how it happened.
But you gained a year of life.
I know. What a gift you gave me.
It's amazing.
Worth driving all the way to Burbank.
So,
which you're right down the street from Dizney, from Walt Disney Studios.
Yep.
And actually the Encore offices, when they existed, they were temporary, like 6-month, whatever, to have offices where they had the edit bays and everything, and those were right across the street from Disney. So
cool.
You were right down the road.
You guys were working away while I was living life down the street.
Yeah, well, I wasn't working away in the offices. That was, the editors and the sound people and all the... God, there were a lot of people. Yeah. It amazed me. I mean, I've worked in theater my whole life, and this was really my first TV thing. There are so many people who do so many things.
It's a huge
operation.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I loved it.
Now
and the food, there's food all around all the time. We don't get that in theater.
Theater has a much smaller budget.
It's much smaller budget.
Even when
everyone has to do 18 jobs.
Yeah.
There's never any food. So you're lucky if you sort of have coffee in a rehearsal studio. Encore, there's a table of snacks at the ready. It's magical.
Yeah, so more TV for you is what you're saying.
Oh, please. I don't know what I would do on it because Encore is the only show tailor-made for me to be on it.
We should have a spin-off series just for you.
I would love that.
Follow you around the country doing all these shows.
You know what? That would be a good idea. Yeah. I would love to do that.
I would watch that before a lot of the other reality shows on television.
If anybody's listening, any producers out there.
There are. So
I'm available. Hire me.
Fantastic. So I really want to know, and this is maybe getting into some secrets you can't talk about, so just let me know, but do these people really not know what roles they're playing? Like, is that audition day really an audition day? Or is that just TV?
I mean, it's... guys... I will say this, having watched a lot of reality television in my life, but never before being on it, I think that Encore is probably the least sort of produced in terms of story of the reality series. We are not trying to manipulate. There are not a lot of lies happening. Like, what you see is really what is happening for the most part. I think there were 1 or 2 times where we did tell people in advance because we knew they were going to keep the roles they had, and they had so much material. Pippin comes to mind. The guy that played Pippin, we knew he was going to still reprise his role as Pippin, and he never left the stage. So I think he got the script maybe 4 days before we started rehearsal.
I don't know how these people learn these parts.
I don't either. They're amazing. And when they don't, there's still comedy there to be mined.
Yeah.
Like in Anything Goes when they could not remember any lines. So we had, a literal ensemble member with a script on stage.
That was like, 40 plus years later? Yeah. Something like that?
Well, now we know I'm bad with years because we figured out my age. Yeah. They did their show in 1975. So...
Yeah.
How long?
Yeah,
What's
that's
that? 45 years.
45 years.
45 years.
Yeah, although it might have been like 43 when you shot or whatever.
Yeah, 44 would have been, because
Yeah.
that was just last summer.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
mean, I honestly don't know how they learned those lines
I don't
at
either.
all.
They're amazing, and
That's crazy.
and think they're not just. It's not like they're just rehearsing. They're also dealing with being pulled into rooms to be interviewed on camera,
Yeah.
shooting random scenes at a bar down the road.
Yeah.
Like they're making a television show and trying to learn the lines and the choreography. They're very impressive. These people, I
Yeah.
have to tell you, like. They were all so game and so great, and the attitudes were so good the whole time. I was amazed.
So that awkward situation with Annie Get Your Gun, where the other girl wanted the lead, was that real?
That was real.
She just like threw that
was
on you
real.
guys. You didn't know that in advance at all.
We thought that might happen because there are many instances in Encore where sometimes people who didn't play leads or who played the leads don't come back, and other people who either were in the ensemble or maybe even off stage. I think in Annie Get Your Gun, Amy was like the choreographer of her high school production. She wasn't in the cast.
Oh, okay.
So we know we need to cast them in the show because we need to fill out all the roles so we can do the musical in 5 days. That was a special case, obviously, where where the cast member did come back, Lane, who played Annie Oakley, and Amy decided that she wanted to not to do it, but to get a chance to audition.
I honestly thought you guys might have swapped out because
she wasn't bad.
She was vocally stronger, in my opinion.
Okay. She had a lot of chemistry because of her history with Alfie. They did have that chemistry.
So there's a lot of like personal drama happening on these shows between these people who haven't sometimes seen each other in decades.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this stuff going on?
Not really, no. I mean, they don't, unless they bring it into the rehearsal room, which sort of happened in Get Your Gun with Chris, remember, who was sort of looking for a job.
The job
and he was
interview,
And he and Coy had some words because Coy was like, dude, you got to memorize your lines. And they had that little moment.
Yeah.
And so that obviously involved the work that we were doing. But stuff that happens outside of the rehearsal room, we as a creative team don't know about and don't really care about, to be honest with you. We have so much to do in those 5 days in terms of putting up this musical. Let the cast and the TV people deal with the personal drama. We're not involved.
So about 50% of the show when you're watching on Disney Plus is surprising to you.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we hear snippets from producers on set, like, oh my God, guess what just happened? But like, if we're not there for that, we don't really know.
That's so funny.
It's a very different, you really need to get like a producer in here to pick their brains because they see everything.
That's wild.
They know. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how the editors do it. Like, they have so much footage.
Yeah.
And so much happens because it is a full week. It's like, I don't know how they decide what to use and how they figure it out. That's like the TV world that fascinates me because in theater, we have a script to work from. In reality TV, they don't.
Yeah.
They just have to, I don't know, pick what's interesting and put it out there. It's amazing to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you are working with people of all different talent levels. It is surprising. Some of these people, some of them have gone into the industry. Some of them haven't sung since they were in high school.
Right.
So I'm curious, I mean, obviously, as the music director, this is a huge part of your job. What is it like working with somebody who's just tone deaf? And one of my favorite cases, and this wasn't your episode, but did you watch the Ragtime episode?
The EMT.
The guy who played Father. I loved him because he knew he was tone deaf, and he was like, I don't care, I'm doing this to prove to my daughter that like you should do things that are incorrect. Exactly. And I love that about it. But at the same time, as a music director, you're like, I want this to be as good as it can. How are you dealing with this?
I mean, again, this is where, as someone who's done a lot of professional theater, you do have to sort of put that aside and think, okay, we're not going to get the final result here that I would want if I were rehearsing this for a run of a musical.
Sure.
But for a one-time thing, it's more about encouraging. And so my tactic is just to be as encouraging as possible. And as supportive as possible. And at the end of the day, that's all you can do. I wasn't on Ragtime, but on Anything Goes with Kenny, who played Moonface Martin.
Yes.
And really was not comfortable with the singing. All I could do was sort of hold his hand and say, you can do it. and just cheer him on. And then when we get to the actual show, I mouth the words along with him. And we just try to help as much as possible. But we also know in the back of our heads, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's a brilliantly musical production.
Yeah.
This is about his story and the story of the cast members and like connecting with the audience. So it's okay. And that's why I'm free to laugh along and enjoy it, because I know it's going to be great TV.
One of my favorite moments was when you were working with the performer working as Tevye in Fiddler.
Yeah.
And he kept doing this thing, this "Oi" with this bag. And you're like, I don't know about the back thing. It's like,
I think he kept it in the show anyway.
But that was like such a, because it was funny because during the scene we're watching it and it's pretty clear you're like amusing him.
Yes.
And then it got to like one too many times for you. And they cut away and all we hear is your voice going, I'm not sure about this.
I know.
So funny.
That was a special case because Fiddler is really close to my heart as just a show that I've done a lot in my life. And so that was, a special thing. And Chase Brock, who directed that, really was trying to pare it down and do like a very serious, honest production of Fiddler that wasn't sort of the big high school version that we're used to seeing. So that's always interesting too with the different directors, because I think I worked with four different? I can't remember now. Because Coy's on it a lot. Coy Middlebrook directs a lot of episodes.
I love Coy.
He's great.
You two together are probably like my favorite duo.
Oh,
you guys are.
We have worked together really well.
Yeah.
And we had done the pilot together, so now we've known each other for a long time, and we sort of have been through the trenches and seeing Encore through all its growing pains. So that goes really well. So then when we get other directors in who have never done it before, and at that point they couldn't even watch an episode of it.
Yeah.
So they're just coming in thinking, okay, I have to direct this show in 5 days. What can I do? Can I put my personal stamp on it, or should I be trying to create their high school one? And we really give them creative freedom to sort of do whatever production they want to do. And so you see sort of mixed results in that sense as well.
Yeah. The woman who directed Annie has like a very different working style.
Marsha, yeah.
She
did Ragtime as well.
Yeah, I love her,
right.
but she's very different from Coy. And it's just, it is interesting to see that. You also work with, and I don't know if you're around for this, remind me, but Roger Love, he's worked with huge
He's
names.
actually a genius.
Yeah, so how did he get involved with Encore, do you know, and have you worked with him in that sense?
Yes, interestingly. Again, it comes back to that pilot, which unfortunately you can't see. But in the pilot, he was one of the creative team. He was there right at the beginning and with us all week. Okay. So he was really there every day, the same way that we were there. And at that point, it was a 4-person creative team. So it was a director, a choreographer, a music director, and a vocal coach.
Wow.
And now it has sort of morphed into, I think he probably didn't necessarily have the availability to travel all over the country because he is so in demand and so busy. But he got involved, I think, being friends with Will Gluck, who's one of our executive producers. I think they're friends, and that's how he got involved. But also they wanted probably someone on the creative team who was sort of had some celebrity kind of cachet, which I certainly don't.
You do now. Let me tell you, if it came back for season 2 and you weren't part of it, I'm pretty sure people would revolt.
Four people would march down the street with placards.
Would all unsubscribe from Disney Plus.
Sure.
So what is the most fun part of this job? Obviously, there's a lot of stress that's
so fun.
You genuinely do seem to.
I really love it.
You're much better than me. I'd be so stressed.
It is stressful.
I'm such a perfectionist.
No, it is stressful, but it's like a fun stressful.
Yeah, okay.
It's a fun stressful because you're given freedom at the end of the day for it not to be perfect. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I don't think anybody wants it to be perfect. If it actually turned into a Broadway caliber performance at the end of 5 days magically, people would be like, this isn't real.
It's not real, yeah.
And the people we're working with could never do that. Professionals couldn't do that in that amount of time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be perfect, and that frees you. My favorite part... Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I love the whole concept of it, and I love the cast members, seeing them rediscover, if not an ability to do this, at least a love for it. And certainly watching back the episodes, and at the end of every episode when you see their kids in the audience. Mm-hmm. And I don't have kids. I don't want kids. I am not a child person. Uh-huh. But there's still something so magical about when you see their kids, like seeing that's mommy on stage, you know, doing this thing and showing that theater is for everyone, for any age, any race, anything. There is theater for you. You can do a musical.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I mean, someone who's made musical theater his life's work and passion, that means a lot to me.
And the first time you meet this cast, literally, we're seeing on TV, right?
Oh, yeah. That's very real.
Have you gotten headshots before that or anything? Or
sometimes. I'm trying to think back now. It's been a few months. Yes, we do see their headshots, I think. We do see their headshots, and we do have a sense before each episode of if we need to recast anything.
Okay.
Like if a certain person didn't come back and we need to fill a role and we know who the people are that could potentially do that. We do get that sort of sense. But we really do meet them on screen for the first time, and they all see each other for the first time on screen. And also, because I've been sort of hearing a lot of podcasts about Encore and tweeting and reading tweets and things, people are really under the impression that the teachers that we sometimes put into the cast know that that's coming. They do not know that is coming.
Okay, cool.
They know that they're there to reconnect with their students, maybe be interviewed on camera. They're all planning on attending the show. But when we ask their high school drama teachers to be in the show, that is genuinely news to them at that time.
That's cool. I like that as well. Like that's a fun little and they always say yes, and you know. It's just, I don't know.
And it also goes to show what an impact arts teachers make on students in high school and why arts programs are so important. And like they're transforming lives.
Yeah, we could go on a whole other thing about this, but like
That's
arts
true.
Education is such an important thing to me, and I'm going to go on a little tangent here for a second because it drives me crazy how much money and emphasis is put on sports programs in school. And I'm not saying they're not important.
No, because you do build teams and things, and there are kids that really thrive in sports.
Absolutely. But the thing that blows my mind is the amount of research that has been done about, even if you're not going to go into the arts professionally, how good it is for the mind and so many other things. Yeah. Like there is solid scientific proof, yet it's still the first thing cut. It drives me insane.
It is a little crazy to me because it obviously like put me on a certain path in life that I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't had exposure to the arts at a young age.
So I love that about Encore as well. I think it's introducing a ton of people to these things. I would love, I don't know, if you ever heard somebody decided to try theater because of it. And I'm honestly always impressed by these, quote unquote jocks or shy kids that you hear about on Encore who are like, I did it and it changed my life. Yeah. And I think it's amazing.
It's great. And I love that we get to sort of revisit those stories. Yeah. Like things you would never think about, because I don't watch like really content made for high schoolers. Obviously that I'm too old and it doesn't appeal to me. But in that, I think you see it more in that kind of stuff, like your Glee and your High School Musical, the musical series, and all those kinds of things that are sort of geared towards the younger audiences, and they are telling those stories. But for adults to revisit those days and remind them, oh, wait, no, this did change my life, playing in the orchestra, being in the show, singing in the choir. Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So was there ever a time when you're doing the show that you're just like, this isn't going to work?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Yes. We knew something would work. I mean, Anything Goes was touch and go for a minute. Yeah. Because that cast was just...
It's book heavy.
Yeah. There was a lot of book. They were older. Yeah. No one's ever too old to do it, but in 5 days, it does, I think, probably get incrementally more difficult as you age to do anything.
Teleprompter next time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, well, there, and you see it in the episode when Coy says, okay, we're going to have Eric, who's one of our local professional actors, sort of play the captain and be at the ready with a script in case people need it. And they've certainly made use of it. Yeah. And yeah, there are always some moments when it's like, oh God, how are we going to make it through? But the magic of theater, it always happens in some form or another.
So of the shows you did, which do you have a favorite? Whether it was actually, let me ask it two ways. Yeah. Of the shows you did, do you have a favorite written show? Okay. And then a favorite experience?
Oh, yeah, that's a very different, my favorite experience was probably Anything Goes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The most stressful one, I would assume.
Yeah, it was stressful, but they they were such a great cast, and
That's
their
awesome.
attitude about it was so good, and they were so funny.
Yes, they were.
That was I laughed so
woman.
much that
I
week.
can't remember who she played, but oh gosh, she was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Was she like one of the two angels?
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was probably my favorite episode to actually make. My favorite show. What did I do? Where's the list of the shows I did?
Was Annie, Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, yeah.
Annie, Get Your Gun.
Oh.
Fiddler's probably your
Fiddler's
favorite.
my favorite of those. Of the actual like
Pippin and
text and score of the musical.
Yeah.
Of those, Fiddler is my favorite. Yeah.
I think, what would mine be? Of those, mine's going to be Beauty and the Beast. Sorry, I'm a Disney kid.
Really?
I'm not
okay.
You want to know something? I'm not, when it comes to older musical theater, when was Fiddler?
Fiddler was 60 something.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of some of the old one that I love because this is the first musical I ever saw on stage was The Music Man.
Oh,
I love The Music Man.
We were supposed to do The Music Man
Really?
this season. Here's another behind the scenes things I think people don't necessarily think about is that getting the rights to these musicals for television is a Herculean effort on the parts of several lawyers. They, for whatever reason, I think because maybe now it would be easier if we were to make more of them because they can watch the series and understand, okay, we're not putting the entire musical on television. But I think the rights holders to these musicals, which are all different companies and all different sort of estates of composers and lyricists and librettists and directors and all these things that you have to, all these pieces that you sort of, that I don't even think about. And they think, oh, TV, this is a huge thing and we can charge all this money. And then we're like, no, we're this little reality series. We don't have the budget of a scripted show and we're not.
Yeah.
It's an effort. And there were a lot of instances where we thought we were going to be able to do a show and then we weren't able to because at the last minute they pulled the rights.
Well, that's a bummer.
And I know Music Man is having a giant Broadway revival coming up with Hugh Jackman.
Yep.
And I don't know if that was the reason, but I could see a potential conflict of interest there where they're like, we have to start limiting the productions of Music Man because we want everyone to go to New York and see this production for a while and then they'll release it again when that closes. So there's a whole world where that's going on behind the scenes that I don't even know anything about.
Do you know anything about the whole selection of like, how do they find these high school groups? Are people submitting?
People are submitting. There is an online form and it's still live just in case.
Interesting.
Please do go submit your high school. I think it's encore.castingcrane.com.
Oh, all right.
And that link has been active since the pilot aired. I don't know how they found the school for the pilot, but since then, I think maybe Kristen Bell tweeted and it just kind of snowballed and word started to spread. But you can certainly still submit, and God willing, if we get more episodes.
You just still don't know. You haven't heard.
We still don't know. There's a lot of pieces. There's a lot of. I think the demand is there, and I think Disney Plus wants it to happen.
Okay.
But there's just so much that goes into it with scheduling and things. So I hope that that's all trying to happen.
Yeah.
People are trying to make it happen. I know that. And it's just a matter of sort of time and the pieces falling into place. I think everyone wants it to happen. It's just a question of can it.
Is there a show you would love to do on Encore?
Oh my God, there's so many I would love to. I'd love to do Little Shop, which you would love. I know it's one of your favorites. I would love to do Hello Dolly, one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. Did you see the Bette Midler one?
I did.
How great was that?
I saw Donna Murphy do it. I saw Bette do it twice. I saw Donna Murphy do it as well. I didn't see Bernadette do it, which I regret, but I was out of the country.
That's the one I wanted. I saw Bette do it, and then I have this thing. Tell me, maybe this is weird or not. I don't know. But when I have like an amazing theatrical experience as an audience member, I'm always afraid to revisit it. Because
is that a thing? Because you can't. It's not like a movie where you can go back and watch it.
Yeah,
you cannot relive that performance.
Yeah,
even if it's one of the Sondheim Lapine shows that they filmed for PBS.
Yeah,
that won't be the performance that you necessarily saw.
Sure.
So you don't want to ruin the memory for yourself. I get it.
So when I saw
Carol Channing do Hello Dolly in 1994 when she toured it.
Wow.
And then went to Broadway for like a limited run. And I was a little afraid of seeing Bette do it because I was worried I would tarnish my memory of the Dolly doing it.
Sure.
But of course, the Bette production was fabulous and very similar to the original as well.
That's one of the things I loved about it, and after seeing Bet do it, I did want to see Bernadette do it, but I never got around to it.
Sure.
But one of the things I loved was like, this is just so refreshing because there's no LED screens.
Right?
It's just like refreshing, and I'm contradicting myself because I was like, I don't really care for older musicals for the most part.
Well,
I love the thing that tends to happen is I love the music. It's the books I don't like as much.
Hello Dolly's a great book.
Well,
because it's a farce, and it's like,
and that role is just so great for so many performers. But it was just refreshing, and that's why I'm excited about this Music Man happening.
Yeah,
because
it's the same team.
It's the same
producer,
team,
director as Dolly.
And I think I'm not a particular. I'm indifferent about Hugh Jackman.
Okay,
but I think he's perfectly cast in this show. I'm saying as a performer overall, I'm like, I don't love or dislike him.
I think it's wonderful.
But I think in that show, I can totally see him as like this brilliant con man.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm excited.
It's a great musical. I love that movie too. The Robert Preston. That's a good movie.
It's so good. Have you gone to Warner Brothers and visited the sets?
No, can I?
Do you want to?
Right now?
What are you doing this afternoon?
I'll go. Can you get me in?
I'll get you in.
How do you get me in?
I used to work there. I'll call somebody and get a
pass.
They
still have the sets from the Music Man?
Oh my God, River City, Iowa's right there.
Is it like a tour people can take, or you have to go in?
Yeah, but I'll just take you on.
Yes, let's go. We've got time. Okay. Is it nearby?
It's down the street. We'll make this happen.
Oh my God, yes.
He's a what? He's a what? He's a music man. And he sells
that used to be my Twitter bio. He's a what? He's a what? He's a music man.
It's amazing.
Oh my God.
I will make a phone call after this and we will make it happen.
This is dreams coming true. I'm younger. I'm seeing the Music Man sets. Wow. Everyone should be on this podcast. Life-changing.
I have a couple more questions about Encore. How lovely is Kristen Bell?
So lovely.
She seems amazing.
I mean, I have to be completely honest. I don't really know her, because she was only ever able to make it on set for 2 episodes of the season.
Which was a bummer, because all the SoCal ones, I'm like, she should be here for every SoCal one.
Do you know what? We were shooting those at the exact same time as she was shooting the last season of The Good Place. And then she's doing so many other... I mean, that is an in-demand star. She's everywhere.
And I get very oversaturated with those people. I won't name names at the moment, but her, people on this podcast have heard it many times. But in any case, I never get enough of.
She's so appealing.
Because she's so genuine.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Like, I believe everything about her. So I'm just gonna take your word and say she's like that in real life.
I think she is. I mean, again, I don't know her. I've obviously met her, and she's been around, but certainly all the time she's been on the Encore set, she was lovely, and everyone just adored her. And I think just the fact that she's doing this show and is such a supporter of it, and it
was it her idea? Do you know?
It was not her idea. It was Jason Cohen's idea. He's the creator, and he directed some of the episodes. He actually just won a Directors Guild Award for directing the Annie episode.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it was his original idea, and then it was brought to Kristen, and she was like, oh my God, yes, I'm signing up for that. So she's obviously a big supporter. She's a huge musical theater fan. And I think everyone just loves her. I think that's all real.
Yeah, very cool. So I'm going to transition now. At the beginning of this, I had said your resume is insane. So I do want to touch on something.
I don't know.
I don't make
insane.
It's
insane
impressive.
Because I've done so many terrible musicals.
No, it's impressive. I want to talk about some stuff like creatively that you worked on. You did a musical called Tarrytown based on the legend of Sleepy Hollow. I like to tie things to Disney. When I go off the Disney road here on the podcast, I love to tie it to Disney. Okay. So of course Disney, just as a fun game I do.
Yeah.
Disney of course did their version of Sleepy Hollow with the Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
Classic.
And you did this production. You did the music book and lyrics for Tarrytown.
Yeah.
Won the San Diego Critics Circle Craig Knoll Award for Best New Musical.
Yeah.
And you did the most recent production of it was with Michael Arden, who, of course, Disney fans know as the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, right, at Paper Mill Playhouse.
Did you see that?
No.
You missed one of the most amazing. It started here in La Jolla.
Yes, with Patrick Page. We've worked together many times, Michael Arden. He's a genius director. I mean, now the world knows because he's getting Tony nominations and doing show after show after show. He's so brilliant.
And Jeremy Jordan was involved, of course, from Newsies.
Yeah.
So, are you obsessed with Legends of Sleepy Hollow? How did this come about? Where did this idea come from?
I'm not obsessed with the Disney one, weirdly. I've seen it, and it's good, and I love it. But do you just
like the book?
I like the book. Actually, the idea started because I was looking for a musical to write because I'd never done it. Musicals take a long time to sort of gestate, and this one who even knows what's going to happen with it, but this was like years and years and years and years. Because the thing about it is, I was living in New York, and I had to make money. You know, when you live in New York, you have to be constantly earning money, or you cannot afford to live there. And writing musicals does not make you money until you become famous at it. So I was sort of doing it just piecemeal. I would like write a song a month maybe.
Sure.
And put it all together. And the whole thing started, I caught a random made-for-TV movie version of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Not the one with Jeff Goldblum.
No.
Oh, that
one's the one with Jeff Goldblum.
That one's weird.
No,
you
the
can
one
find it
with
on
Brett
YouTube.
Carver.
I don't know this one.
He's like a Canadian Broadway musical theater actor. Original Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Okay.
He played Leo Frank in Parade.
Okay.
Yeah. And he plays Ichabod Crane in it's a Canadian made-for-TV movie.
Interesting.
What's the Jeff Goldblum one?
I think it's like from the 70s, maybe early 80s.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it. I gotta see that.
You can YouTube
It's
it.
a great property because it's in the public domain, which is something I knew I
didn't
needed.
realize that.
Yeah, you don't need to buy the rights. And I pared it down. It's a 3-person musical. It's set in present day. Ichabod's gay. It's a whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can listen to all of it. There's a whole demo with that cast. That's all on my website. Have you seen a movie called Pittsburgh?
No.
There's a movie called Pittsburgh that's a mockumentary, but it's half documentary, half mockumentary. It stars Jeff Goldblum. I think it's from 2003, and it documents Jeff Goldblum going to Pittsburgh, where he's from, and playing Harold Hill in The Music Man.
No kidding.
At Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera, which is like a summer stock theater. He does a 2-week run as Harold Hill in The Music Man, and he really did do it, and they made a mockumentary out of it.
I've got to check that out.
I had to buy the DVD on eBay. It's hard to find.
Do you
you should. I can send it to you.
Do you watch The World According to Jeff Goldblum?
I do. I've seen it.
So he performs
and that's been picked up. Encore hopefully will be next. Knock on wood.
Yes,
we can make it happen. Fans, reach out to Disney Plus. Demand Encore. More Encore.
Start tweeting, folks.
Yeah.
So
Another musical that I just wrote called Cast Party. I was just commissioned by a high school.
Yes.
This brings it all back to Encore to write their spring musical for them. So next weekend, I'm driving up to Chautauqua, New York.
Wow.
To see their spring musical, which I wrote.
That's awesome.
So it's interesting that now, like later in life, I'm back into this world of high school musicals. It's very strange.
You have so many credits I could go on forever, but I'm going to end it with this one that I was obsessed with that you were music supervisor on.
What was
Carrie?
On the Carrie Out Here. So I was the assistant music director of the Carrie Revival in LA, and that's me playing keyboards on the cast recording.
Unbelievable.
And that was an incredible experience. And then after that closed, I musically supervised the production out here.
The one in the Los Angeles Theater.
Yeah, the one that came, it started at La Mirada and then went up. Yeah. Immersive Carrie.
I loved it. I'm going to tie this to Disney as well because there were so many Disneyland performers in that production.
Of course,
so,
yeah. Mike Starr was in there. And
quite a few.
Was Chris Meisner in that? Who was like an Olaf?
I don't know.
Lyle Maxton, who's Lyle, Frozen.
Yes. And there were a lot of Disney. It was. I wish that was open-ended. I wish that was. I saw it twice when it was running.
It was a really short-lived thing, right?
I think like 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, made me obsessed with that musical, and I have the recording and everything.
Oh, good. I love it. Well, I had like this long history with that musical where I had all the bootlegs of the Broadway one.
Okay.
Like growing up in high school in my little house in Michigan with my family, I had this like copy of the score that I had purchased on eBay, and I would play through the score to Carrie.
That's amazing.
But never did I think there would ever be another production of it because it was under such lock and key. It was such a huge flop. You know, there's that great book by Ken Mandelbaum, Not Since Carrie, which is sort of the history of musical flops, and that's the one on the cover of the book because it was so iconic. And then I actually got to do it and got to sort of revisit it, and we did the whole revisal, and it was I did that over the course of like years, because again, that was multiple workshops and labs and things in New York before we did the run there.
Did you do the off-Broadway production?
Yeah.
With Marin Maisie?
Yeah. Oh, Marin, the best, the literal best.
I've been listening to her a lot lately because I just saw a production of Ragtime. And that's
Did you see the Pasadena Playhouse?
No,
one?
I saw the Musical Theater West one.
Oh, okay. How was it?
Just ended. It was actually very good, but it's one of those shows. Like I said, I don't like to revisit because it's one of my favorite shows.
I see.
And she's Mother.
She is Mother.
There are many brilliant people who have performed that role, but she's Mother. And so I listened to Back to Before and When There's No One from Carrie.
Oh, yeah?
Like, regularly.
Oh, my God.
But, not to end this on a sad note.
Not to end on a sad note, but she was I mean, peerless, really.
Yeah.
Peerless and fearless and all the things. She was just the best. What a sad, sad loss for the world.
We need to end this on a happier note.
Okay.
So what are you doing now? Oh, well, you got the musical coming up at the high school.
I've got a musical at the high school. Well, now I am in Pittsburgh at the moment. I am teaching full time. I am a professor of musical theater at Point Park University in their musical theater BFA program, and that's full time at the moment. And then we'll see. Hopefully, we'll be making some more Encore for you all soon.
What's the dream gig for you? Is it writing a Broadway musical or?
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I don't know that there is one dream. I think you can do a lot of different things in life, and I'm sort of enjoying doing all of it. I would obviously love to have a production of a musical that I've written in New York. That for sure is a dream. Mm-hmm. Making more Encores would be a wonderful dream to come true. I could do that forever and be totally happy. Yeah, I'm just sort of I'm really enjoying teaching at the moment, and I would like to do that for a while. So I'm just kind of doing it and enjoying life at the moment. Yeah.
I love it. Well, we have just skimmed the surface as far as the stuff you've been involved with. Oh my God. So where can folks find out more about you?
They can go to my website, adamwachter.com. Hear a lot of my music and stuff there. They can follow me on...
I love LA Song.
Oh, thank you. I wrote that while I was here. Remember the story about living here and doing the pilot?
Yeah.
That was happening. And I wrote that because I was going to do that show at Rockwell. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I should write something new for it.
I was going to tie that in. We were talking about Rockwell before we recorded. Jeff Goldblum performs there all the time.
I know. He plays like jazz piano, right? He does his show. I should go check that out.
Yeah, I don't know if he's been really busy lately, so he hasn't been
a Disney Plus star now.
Yeah. So.
Join the club. Jeff Goldblum. I've never even met him.
Fantastic.
Or they can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Zebra Adam.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
Adam, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
This has been fun and so many tangents. And
Yay, I'm all about a tangent.
Yay.
Yeah.
I hope you folks enjoyed that interview and learned a bit more about one of my favorite Disney Plus shows. The entire first season is currently available on Disney Plus. I'd like to once again thank Adam for coming on the show. I truly had a wonderful time with him, and for those who are wondering, yes, Adam is equally as charming in real life as he is on the show. If you haven't listened yet, be sure to tune into last week's episode where we had a discussion all about Frozen, the Broadway musical. And don't forget to keep up with all of the latest Disney news every Sunday in the House of Mouse headlines. Don't miss any of the magic by making sure you're subscribed to Disney Coast to Coast, and get your DCTC bonuses by visiting patreon.com/DisneyCTC. That's patreon.com/DIZNEYCTC. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.